It's the first game of the 2026 World Junior Championships in Minneapolis, Minnesota for Canada and Czechia. So excited for this tournament. It's always special, it's always spectacular, it's best on best hockey. In net for Canada, Carter George from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and in net for the Czechs, Michael Orszalak from Tromosna, Czechia. And for the last 10 years or so with no best on best hockey in the Olympics, this has been the premier international tournament in terms of the opinion of North Americans for sure. I know Europeans really enjoy the World Hockey Championships, but many teams don't send their best players because they're tied up with the NHL playoffs. The tournament runs at the same time, so it's kind of an afterthought in most cases. This game got off to a little bit of a hesitant start, but it opened up after just about 5 or 6 minutes. Both teams exchanged great breakaway chances. Vaclav Nestrasil came out of a penalty box after a Canadian power play did almost nothing, took a loose puck at center ice, but fired a shot over the net on a breakaway. Then moments later, it was Sam O'Reilly's turn for Canada. He took a pass all alone in the clear, but he fired it wide on his shot. Now, just about 14 minutes into the game, Canada finally opens the scoring. Gavin McKenna with a glorious little spinning pass to Brady Martin. Brady Martin takes it in the slot, fires a shot on net, beats Michael Orszalak, gives Canada their first goal of the tournament, puts them up 1-0. And the Czechs played a very strong first period. They outchanced Canada. They got a high number of high-quality chances. Just a couple of minutes later, though, the Czechs tied it up. It was a really nice play. Politin, right in front of the net, redirects a shot from Adam Benek, draws the Czechs even. And in all respects, I think Czechia was a better team in the first period than Canada. They really brought the game to Canada. They really fought hard. They did not seem like an underdog at all. They seemed right at home, going toe-to-toe with this stacked Canadian squad, just loaded with first-round picks all through the lineup. Canada, though, responded very nicely. Right after the Czechs tied it, just over 30 seconds later, Canada retakes the lead. It's Montreal Canadiens prospect Michael Hage with a laser beam of a wrist shot. He rips it on net through heavy traffic, and it's a seeing eye shot. It finds the top corner. He puts Team Canada back in front, this time 2-1 lead, and they get into the intermission with that lead. Strong period for Canada, strong period for the Czechs. Lots of chances traded back and forth. Bit hesitant at the start, but both teams really came into their own offensively. The defense was quite loose on both ends. Carter George made some really nice saves. He outshone Michael Orszalak throughout this game, but it was a very exciting opening period, for the tournament, and it's just indicative of what a great tournament this is, what a high level of play this is. These are the best young players in the world. Canada missing a couple of guys who are in the NHL who would really load up this roster and stack this roster, but it's already quite a talented group of players for Team Canada. The teams go into the intermission, and the Czechs come out and they do bring the game to Canada. They don't seem intimidated at all. They're not nervous about trailing by a goal, and they slowly take control in the second period. So while Canada has a delayed penalty, Wojtek Sihar tipped a shot by Adam Benek just over 4 minutes into the period with the goalie pulled, and he drew the Czechs back into a tie. He makes it 2-2. They're outshooting Canada at this point. They're playing really strong. They're controlling play throughout the beginning of the second period. And then as the period rolled on, the Czechs got more and more impressive. It's not to say Canada didn't have any chances whatsoever, but the Czechs really controlled play. They were able to shut down Canada, prevent them from getting really high danger chances. And finally, just over 12 minutes into the period, Czechia gets their first lead of the game. A beautiful three-way passing play deep in Canada's zone. From behind the net, Vaclav Nestrasil sends the puck out to Sihar in front. He moves the puck over to Peter Sikora, and Peter Sikora made no mistake, slides it under the glove of Carter George, puts the Czechs in front 3-2. The Canadian fans and the Canadian roster are stunned. They can't believe this. They're getting outshot and outplayed by the Czechs. The shots are 18-13. The score is 3-2. Canada really scrambling for a bit, but to their credit, they kept plugging away, and late in the period, on a terrific play by Zane Parekh, and just like Michael Hage's shot was really through a lot of traffic and tough for the Czech netminder to see, Zane Parekh waited, picked a spot, knew there was traffic, knew it was going to be a tough shot to see, ripped it on net with that beautiful wrist shot that he has, pick the corner, ties the game up at 3-3. Perek displaying just why he was such a high draft pick for the Flames. Yes, he had a really rough start to the season in Calgary. He's really got to work on his defensive game, but he is an offensive dynamo. The kid is spectacular offensively, but the teams go into the second intermission, all tied up at 3. The third period starts with a bang. Canada up on a power play, and guess who it is? Yet again, Zane Perek picks a puck out of midair, calmly plays it, stick handles left and right, pulls the puck back just a tiny bit on his stick, changes the angle of the shot he's going to take, and again, through traffic, just unleashes a laser of a wrist shot, picks the top corner, barely any flex in his stick. This is all strength in the wrist for Zane Perek. What a shot by the kid. Gives Canada a 4-3 lead, puts them back on top, but the Czechs do not give up. Just a minute and a half after Canada takes the lead, the Czechs even it right back up. A little bit of a funny looking play, a shot that goes off of the glove of Carter George, bounces off the boards behind the net and comes right back in front to Politan. Politan standing right there, the puck comes right onto his stick, he's got the yawning cage right in front of him and he doesn't make any mistake about it, pushes it into the net. 4-4, all tied up again. And the offense just continues in this one. 70 seconds after Canada gives up the game-tying goal, TJ Ginla takes his turn to rip a wrist shot by Orsulak. It looks like the puck might deflect off of one or two bodies in front before tipping off of Orsulak, but it finds the back of the net. Canada goes back in front 5-4. And then Ethan McKenzie, undrafted for 2 drafts in a row on a team filled with superstar first-round talent, shows just why he was selected for this team. Just over 9 minutes into the period, he picks up the puck just inside the blue line, walks towards the high slot, fires a wrist shot on net, and puts it in. 6-4, gives Canada a 2-goal lead for the first time in the game. Finally, to get some breathing room. They don't have the Czechs breathing down their necks every shift. But the Czechs again continue to fight. This was a very, very tenacious Czech team who played extremely well. Tomáš Galviš got the Czechs to within just a goal. With under 5 minutes to go, a nice play off the rush. Carter George doesn't have a chance. He tries sprawling across, but he's beat. It's 6-5. The Czechs end up pulling their goaltender, and finally, with just over a minute to go, Canada is able to put one in. Empty net goal, 7-5 game. That's how this one ends. Canada picks up their first win, 3 points for a regulation win. Very, very hard-fought game. Canada cannot go through the entire tournament playing this way. They need to tighten up their defense. Their defense was very loose. The goaltending wasn't the problem here. They gave up 5 goals, but it was due to defensive breakdowns. Canada is not going to be able to outscore all of their problems all tournament long. There are going to be teams who are going to be able to shut down their offense or limit their offense. So they really need to ensure that they're not falling into a trap of thinking that they can just play so loose and so lackadaisical defensively and get into a shootout like this, because it's not going to be a recipe for success against the super teams of the tournament like the Americans or the Swedes. But Canada survives. Great tournament. I adore this tournament. I cannot wait for the next game. Canada gets ready to take on Latvia tomorrow. It should be a win for Canada, but Latvia has always been such a scrappy underdog of a team. With such a tiny country, they're so strong at hockey. I still remember Kristers Gudlevskis in the Olympics against Canada making 50 some odd saves. It's a team that I just adore to watch. Latvia is an underdog that everyone roots for. Obviously, I want Canada to beat them, but don't underestimate the Latvians. They're a very, very feisty group. They're not a favorite to win this tournament. They're probably not even a favorite to make it out of the group stage, but do not underestimate them. They're very strong. Like I said earlier, this is a best-on-best tournament, and it has just been the pinnacle of best-on-best hockey for the last 10 or 12 years. With no NHL players in the Olympics, this is the only tournament where you consistently see the best players from every nation competing. Yes, there's an age cap, but there are very few players who are missing from this tournament because of obligations elsewhere. A couple high-end NHLers like Macklin Celebrini obviously aren't going to leave their NHL teams to join the World Junior rosters. But for the most part, almost every team is at completely full strength. Unlike the World Championships, for example, which tend to run concurrently with the NHL playoffs, so a lot of teams just cannot bring the best of the best because the best players tend to be on the best teams and the best teams are making deep playoff runs. So excited. This is just like a preview, a little sampling, a taste of what the Olympics are going to be like. Great start to the tournament. Keep it going tomorrow against Latvia. Anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for me. If you made it to the end of the video, please give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below and have a great night, guys.